I'm Maren.
And I'm Max.
And we're Voyager Guru.
So we're here today at the beautiful Serenity Island Resort in Fiji.
We're so excited to share our experience here at the Serenity Island Resort. So we're going to walk through the categories and let you know what we love.
So far it's been an amazing stay and really an incredible experience. So our first category is location.
We rate location 4.5 stars. It's just 35 minutes from the main island of Fiji, so it's super easy to get here with a ferry.
Yeah, so the island is all by itself. It's a private island. It's incredibly remote seeming, and yet it's a 30-minute ferry if you pick the right ferry. That's an important thing on transportation. If you don't pick the right ferry, you could end up on a 3-hour island hopping tour, which some of the guests did unfortunately do. The one thing about the location that might be a drawback is there's no shelter whatsoever on the island. So if the winds are strong or the seas are rough, the island is really taking a lot of weather. The main area where the island is, it's developed on the side that seems to get the most weather and the most water, whereas the far side of the island, which is undeveloped, it seems to have calmer waters. Interestingly enough, the plans for this property are that they intend to develop the other side of the island as well.
Overall, the island could not be more beautiful with white sand beaches, clear blue water. So for that reason, the location is definitely 4.5 stars.
Our second category is lobby and check-in.
We rate the lobby and check-in experience 4 stars. We were picked up at the ferry just offshore by a boat, and we were driven in with some other guests onto the island with singing and guitars, and they were welcoming us, and it was a really nice experience. They had cold towels and fresh juice as well.
The singing was really great. Unfortunately, I think the one thing that we found with lobby and check-in was that all of the pieces were there. There seemed to be a little bit of trouble with some of the execution. So, as we pulled up, the music stopped before we could even hear the music or the singing, and there just seemed to be a little bit of confusion around check-in. And so for some of those reasons, that's why we give it 4 stars, but overall the experience was really great.
From that moment of pulling up, we knew that the staff was one of the shining stars of the property here.
So our third category is rooms.
We rate the rooms 3.5 stars.
So the room that we had was the Seabreeze Burr. Burrs are what they call bungalows here. It was beautiful. It was right on the beach. It had a bunch of open windows. You could open basically 360 degrees around the room so that the breeze would come through. You could hear the waves crashing. Really, really nice.
Yeah, and it had all of the elements of a perfect room. The air conditioning, that beautiful openness, a duvet, which is amazing and kind of rare. Beautiful new furniture. They even had an espresso with a milk frother, which was a really nice, high-quality touch.
Yeah, they had umbrellas, they had bathrobes, they had slippers. They had all of the luxury touches that you look for in, honestly, like a 5-star resort. And I think that that's kind of the direction that they're looking to move into. This property was acquired not too long ago, and they've done a lot of renovations, and they have big plans for the island. So the property's in a bit of a transition phase right now. Overall, the room was really beautiful. It was a little on the small side, and in particular, I think that more attention could have been paid to the bathroom, as much attention that was paid to the rest of the room and the balconies and the outside area. That
being said, the room had a beautiful hammock that we sat and watched the sunrise in. Beautiful outdoor area as well, so we loved our experience with our room.
One of the only drawbacks of some of the rooms along the way is some of the views are slightly obstructed because of trees and bushes, but also the area of beach there is not necessarily the most swimmable, not as swimmable as some of the other areas on the island. So typically, we went swimming a couple times right in front, but it was much more comfortable to go swimming in some of the other areas. So you weren't really just coming right out of your bungalow and jumping in the water. So our fourth category is facilities.
Facilities we rate 3 stars. The property does have an activity center that offers free things like paddleboarding and kayaking, but they seem to be missing other things like their advertised scuba diving, for instance.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of things here that are in progress.
Yeah.
And so the hotel is in a transitionary phase. They have new management. They're redoing a lot of things. They're undergoing renovations. They've opened up a lot of things, and they've created a lot of advertising around things that are offered that aren't actually offered yet. So in a lot of cases, garden is in progress. The scuba diving, they didn't have equipment yet. There were a couple things that weren't quite fully finished, but I think a year or two from now, the facilities here will definitely be one of the highlights. Actually, where we're sitting right now is a really cool part of the property that's super unique. They have a turtle conservation project ongoing. So these pools behind us actually house different sizes of turtles at different ages. So the ones over there are like brand new little babies. The ones right here are a little older. And these ones right behind us are a little over 1 year old. And last night we actually got to see them release some of the turtles into the ocean, which was a really cool experience.
And the facilities here, they do have a number of activities due to some of the missing things like scuba diving. They do offer a number of activities throughout the day. Every night there's a kava ceremony, which is the traditional beverage that the Fijians drink, and they offer up the ceremony for the guests where we get to try the kava and experience that ceremony.
They had a show which was very cool. They had all of the men from the island that came together and danced. It
was a beautiful experience.
It was really exciting just to be able to see that cultural aspect of it. I think there just needs to be a little bit more communication probably of what all the available activities are, and just a little bit more refinement in general of the facilities.
Yeah, so if you do come here, be sure to check the activities board that's listed in the lobby every day, because the activities do change every day and you don't really have another way of knowing about them. There's also a small outdoor gym, kind of in a little pagoda with some basic gym equipment. It's a little too hot for me to work out outdoors, but it is available, as well as a beautiful pool right on the beach with some really comfortable pool loungers and relaxation lounge areas. So right behind us is a conference center. It also is used by the staff as a church right now, and they do invite the guests to service every Sunday if guests are interested in joining.
The majority of Fijians are Christian, followed by Hinduism as the second most common religion. So our fifth category is dining.
Dining, we rate 3.5 stars. There's one restaurant on the property that serves breakfast, lunch, and dinner, but every day they change the menu.
Although the one restaurant seems a bit limiting, they have done a really good job of varying the menu. I think the one thing that they could probably work on is consistency. Some of the meals we had were absolutely fabulous. I mean, really incredible, like the scallops that we had the other night. And then some of them were a little less exciting. They were a little bland, didn't have quite the same flavors some of the other ones did, or sometimes there were a couple things that weren't quite cooked as you would expect them to be. So I think just developing that consistency will be something that happens over time, and I think that this will improve overall for the dining experience.
There is something for everyone on every menu, including vegetarian options, and they have a pretty broad selection of alcohols and soft drinks as well.
We also found that it was really great value. Each of the meals is not particularly expensive, and being that this is the only place that you're going to be able to get food, it's nice to know that you're not being price gouged just because you're stuck on an island. So our sixth category is service.
Service is an interesting topic here because traditionally speaking, I'd rate the service about 3 stars, but there's a whole other side to the service here that's personal, it's genuine, and you almost feel like family here. So there's kind of a mix of traditional 3-star, but this non-traditional 5-star exceptional service that makes me want to come back or not even leave today. So we're going to rate the service 4 stars.
Yeah, really that experience of just almost bonding with the staff. This incredible openness of the Fijian culture and the way they've really taken us in. They're all very soft-spoken and genuinely nice and interesting. They want to get to know you. We really found that was part of the experience that we really never had at any hotel. I felt connected to a lot of the staff in a way that's never really happened. They invited us to participate in their kava ceremony on Sunday night, which was a very big event, and we got to be there with all 50 staff. And it was not a refined event
just
or anything
in their
like
quarters.
It was just behind the staff quarters, and we got to enjoy kava with them. So that was this really authentic experience. And then they did other things with us too. One of the staff members who is now basically a friend, Misa and Johnny, they took us around. They got coconuts for us. They tried to get a bonfire going, but unfortunately the rain and all that didn't quite work out. They made the experience so much more than what we expected it to be. And so, despite some of the service issues that a hotel like this typically suffers from in terms of, slow service with some of the dining options, a couple, things that are maybe just a little less refined, the staff more than makes up for it.
Yeah, you almost forget about every little thing that might not have been acceptable at other properties because the staff are so nice and they try so hard.
It makes you a little bit more forgiving in that you feel just like, oh, but they're so nice. Alright, so category 7 is style.
Style we'd rate 4 stars. When we look at style, we think about how authentic it is to the culture, how refined that style is, and how cohesive it is around the property.
In terms of authenticity, there's a lot of local Fijian architecture and touches that they've put. That's really nice to see that you're not just in a plain clean hotel. You know, you have that authentic feeling. In terms of the second category of consistency, there are areas where they've done a really good job of keeping things consistent. There are some areas where they've just kind of put in cheaper building materials and just tried to create a space that works with like some of the bathrooms and things like that. With the third category of refinement, there's just final touches that need to be put on lighting, addition of candles, some of the things that would just make the experience lift up a little bit more in terms of style. I'd also like to see a lot more artwork, I think. I loved some of the artwork that we did see, but it seemed like there could have been more and more consistency throughout. And so normally that would be the end of our categories, but for this hotel, we're actually going to add an 8th category, and that's experience.
It's kind of rare for us to go to a hotel and have an experience that makes you feel like you're part of a family. I can't really think of another time where it's been so clear to me, so we felt like adding an experience category that kind of sums up just the overall bond that we have with this island and the people on it. So we're going to rate our experience 5 stars.
Yeah, this really was a 5-star experience. We didn't have high expectations. We actually booked this room coming in almost the day before. Actually, it was the day before.
It was like 8 hours before we left.
And so we booked this room on Chase Points. We have a link in the description below to how we use our Chase Sapphire Reserve, and you can learn more about that, how we can leverage those points. When we got here, we just kind of expected, hey, look, it's on a beach, it'll be fine, it'll be whatever, let's relax. It was so much more than we thought it would be. And it was really because of the people that are here and the feeling that the island has in general. It just feels authentic and secluded and gives you this experience of really feeling home. Having that opportunity to hang out with the staff and attend these local experiences like the kava ceremony, not just the kava ceremony that they put on for the guests, but the real kava ceremony until 4 in the morning. It was one of those things that just made you feel so part of the family.
I thought it was weird when we got on the boat off of the ferry and they asked us to go around and say our names and where we were from. I've never done that before, but it makes so much sense now that we know the staff and we know the other guests on the property. It just was a very different experience and really sad to leave.
We actually saw a guest the other day who left and
he was crying. He was like hugging them.
What's important about that though is that we realized that it's not just us and it wasn't just our experience. It's an experience that I think a lot of the guests have had with this resort. I think all are equally surprised. So one thing we really hope from this resort is we know they have big plans. We know they're going to expand, and we know that they're going to really kind of push things to another level of luxury, but we hope that they don't lose some of that experience and authenticity that this island and that this staff has.
Really, really, really hope that we can come back soon because this property is a true gem in Fiji.
Yeah, if you're looking for an area to stay in Fiji that's off the mainland, on an island, and really gives that authentic island feeling, but also a great value, Serenity is a really great choice.
So if you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe.
And be sure to follow us on Instagram at Voyager Guru and subscribe to our blog at voyagerguru.com. We've put the links in the description below, and if you'd like to read our full review of this hotel, you can also check that link right down below here.
And normally we'd sign off with the Marin and Max, but now we have Fijian names, so we're going to do that instead.
Yeah, so my Fijian name for Max is actually Micah.
And my name for Marin is Mareni.
So I'm Micah.
I'm Mareni. And we're Voyager Guru. See you next time.